Hello there, good morning, great to see you back on the channel. Now today I want to continue my series of what there is to shoot in the night sky when there's no Milky Way core available. So we've made our way to the sleepy little town of Malden in Central Victoria, and I love this place. I visit here quite regularly. It's on my way to a few other locations that I like to shoot. But there's a spot here that I shot just 2 nights ago, and I want to take you there now and show you what I shot and how I went about doing that. So let's get into it. Now, as you may be aware, the Central Victorian district is part of a big gold mining community. Now, most of these gold mines have retired and there's not many happening. There's still a few around. But this is one of the old mining sites here in Central Victoria. And so, because it's an old mining site, there's a few relics left behind. Now, that's what I want to show you today. But before I show you that, I want to explain the subject that I want to shoot. Remember, this video is all about what to shoot in the night sky when there's no Milky Way core. So, here in the Southern Hemisphere, we have a number of unique photographic opportunities for stuff that's in the southern sky. And I want to talk to you about one of those today. So the subject I want to talk to you about today are the Magellanic Clouds. Now, the Magellanic Clouds are actually 2 irregular galaxies, the large Magellanic Cloud and the small Magellanic Cloud, which orbit the Milky Way once every 1,500 million years or so. Now, lying about 200,000 light years away, they are amongst the closest known galaxies to our own. The Magellanic Clouds appear like a piece of the Milky Way that is broken off, when in fact both Magellanic Clouds are separate small galaxies. These beautiful jewels of the night sky are most easily visible in the Southern Hemisphere, as they are located quite close to the South Celestial Pole. So my journey here is because I was looking for a foreground subject to put in front of these Magellanic Clouds. Now, here in a fairly dark sky location like this, the Magellanic Clouds are visible to the naked eye quite easily, and they show up in lots of photos randomly. You might be shooting the Milky Way core laying down in the west, and often you'll see the Magellanic Clouds off further towards the south. So they are quite a striking. They look like a couple of snowflakes in the sky, or fairy floss or something like that. They're really soft edged. Typically clouds, that's exactly what they look like. Anyway, we're here because I wanted to line up something in the foreground, and I had this crazy idea. I hadn't actually been to this little spot for quite a while. So there's a beehive chimney up here. This is called the Beehive Gold Mine, and there's the chimney stack, which is pretty much the only thing that's left intact and standing here. And I thought, gee, that would look good with these Magellanic Clouds up in the sky behind it. So I'm going to take you down there now. We'll have a look and see how I went about actually framing this up. And I'll give you a little bit of a hint. It was not as easy as I thought it would be at the beginning. Let's go. Okay, well, you can see in the background there the target from my shoot when I was here the other night. Nice open clear sky, which is fantastic. And you can see the chimney stack there is actually very, very tall. It'd be at least 100 feet high. So it's prominent, stands out in the landscape, and you can see it for miles around here when you're driving around. That's fantastic. But once I came here the other night, I immediately realized I had quite a few challenges. And to be honest, the height is one of those challenges, but there's a few more as well. All right, so as we move a bit closer to the tower there, you can see some of the challenges that I was facing. Have a look at all these bushes and trees. A lot of peppercorn trees growing around. Now, they always do grow a lot around these old mine sites. I don't remember there being so many trees here the last time I came. Now, the problem with that, of course, is because the tower is so high, I need to get back a fair way to fit it all in. So this is my number one challenge. If I put the camera down here, then the foreground is full of all these scrappy old trees. If I move in closer, then I've got compositional issues. Now, I had with me my 20mm f1.8 Nikon lens, and that's the only lens I had with me. Sure, if I had a really ultra wide lens, say like a 14 or 15mm lens, and I can move in closer there, I'd probably get it all in without any problems at all. Having said that, there'd probably be a fair bit of distortion. And you find with very straight subjects with very ultra wide lenses, they end up being crooked or they start leaning or something like that. I really don't like that look, and that's why I tend to use the 20mm lens rather than ultra wides. Anyway, I did have a plan, so I'll show you what I did to overcome, or at least somewhat overcome the problem. Well, it's a fantastic subject. It's just beautiful. Actually, just looking at that chimney, I don't think it's straight anyway. Looks like it's curving a bit, so. But I love the old brickwork underneath the base of it. And there's stones and rocks and all sorts of things like that. So, you know, I love that sort of stuff, and it sort of sets it up as a great light painting subject, which is the whole purpose of me wanting to come here in the first place. So anyway, what I did, I had put my camera right back here, pretty much where this camera is now, as close as I could get to these trees. So just behind the camera is all that tree line that I showed you before. And there's no way knowing I was going to be able to shoot this in one shot. Even vertical in portrait orientation, I could not get it all in. So I was gonna have to shoot multiple shots. So I ended up shooting panoramas, and that was my reason for getting close, because I just wanted to make sure I get all of this in. And I was able to shoot vertically. I tried different orientations to get it in. Now, by the way, the Magellanic Clouds, which is our composition for this shot, were right behind the tower, which was great, just over to the left-hand side. Now, the Magellanic Clouds are, as I said before, very close to the South Celestial Pole. So where I'm located here, they never actually set below the horizon. They just go around the South Celestial Pole. So at this time of year, end of December, we're looking at the Magellanic Clouds being at their highest point in the sky. So that's where they were, right up the top near the tower, which is one of the reasons I came here, because I knew this tower was high and I wanted to get something that featured the clouds. Challenges galore, so I started with panoramas, and from this position as far back as I could get, and I shot 3 or 4 images, one on top of the other, so a vertorama if you like, to fit it all in. Did some light painting around here, but I did some low level lighting. I'll show you where I put those lights. So I had 2 Z96 video lights, and I decided to cross light, which I often do. Camera there, one light over there, and another light over there. And that was my plan, and that's pretty much most of the light. I put a touch of torchlight just down here in the foreground, just to light up these foreground rocks and a little bit of the grass and the pathway here. So with these Z96s, the biggest challenge I had was actually getting them to light the whole of the chimney. Now, because we're so close to the town here, there was a fair bit of light coming from some of the street lights onto the top on this right-hand side. It wasn't getting down where the trees are stopping the light from coming in, so it's a bit of a mixed lighting situation. So anyway, I had my Z96. Now, originally I tried them on the ground, but I was finding that it just wasn't quite getting above the grasses and the rocks, so I had to go back to the car and grab a couple of light stands, which I did. Get the lights probably over my head height, so probably about 6 or 7 feet off the ground. That did a better job. I left the orange gels on, by the way, because I just like the warm look, even though it's red brick, especially this part down the bottom here. And so I had one over there and one over there, and that worked pretty well. Now, one other thing I forgot to mention, it was really, really windy here the other night, and halfway through taking pictures, one of my light stands crashed over. I heard it, saw the light disappear. No damage done. These things are as tough as anything. So they are fantastic lights, rugged. Just throw them in the camera bag. The batteries last forever. They are fantastic. The other thing I really like about them is the fact that you can lower the intensity way down low. Now, I've got quite a few lights in. I've got a couple of Lume Cube minis. I've got other lights, and they go down to what they call 1%. Their 1% is about twice as bright as this on its lowest level, which is why I really like these particular lights. Now, having said that about the lighting, you can see that the surface of the bottom part of this tower is quite light coloured, and so it will blow out if I'm not too careful with the light levels, and especially when you're shooting at high ISOs like I was for this particular shot. And of course I tried just to get a little bit of light. I cupped my hand and shone my torch into my hand to reflect up to this side on the left hand side of the chimney, because it was quite dark up there, with mixed results of success, I would say, about that. But ultimately I think these shots worked out pretty well. Now you will notice from that shot there I just showed you that the sky background was tracked. So I had to work out how I was going to do that, because I wanted to get some closer shots and put that background tracked sky in with the foreground there, which worked out quite well. So I got the tracker out, went back over there to a more clear sky area, lined it up to the south celestial pole, and took some images of just the sky with both Magellanic clouds. And what I did a panorama. So I did 3 plus 3, so 2 rows of 3, 6 shots in total, and they were great. Just by itself that looks pretty good as well. Now, as you know, if you've watched my previous videos, I've never been a big one to do tracking in my photography, but I have recently done a fair bit of it. As you know, if you've been watching my more recent videos, especially this series on what to shoot in the night sky when there isn't a Milky Way core around. So I've got the tracker out and I've been experimenting a little bit. And to be honest with you, these last couple of adventures out when I've been using the tracker, as far as post-production is concerned, I've been using Photoshop's new sky replacement algorithm. And to be honest, it works really well. I've been very surprised because that is the most difficult part of shooting with the tracker, is to blend in the foreground and the background. I mean, some people have got an arts degree in Photoshop. I don't. I just like to keep things simple as possible. And you know from previous videos, for me, a good edit is a quick edit. But I've been working it through and it seems to be working quite well. At least it's a good starting point for where you want to go a little bit further. You know, you can tweak a few settings and so forth. But so far, I've been really happy with the results. Now, for many of you, of course, you won't get to see the Magellanic Clouds because, as I said before, they are a feature of the Southern Hemisphere skies. But they are beautiful and great subjects to photograph. So I apologise to all my friends in the Northern Hemisphere who are watching this video. If you ever make your way south of the equator, they're just there waiting for you. And it's worth the trip if you get down here to good old sunny Australia. Now I know you're going to have a good laugh at me here, but I've just come down this bottom side. So this is on the eastern side and I'm looking up towards the west. And I've looked at my PhotoPills augmented reality view here. Let me just get it up and have a look. And I've realised, hang on, I just went onto Facebook, that's not going to help me, is it? So let's have a look. What I've realised is that I can actually shoot the Milky Way core here. Not now, of course, because there's no Milky Way core, but I can shoot it right across that sky, probably in September, October next year. Oh, look, I know this video is not about the Milky Way core. It's meant to be what to shoot when it's not there. But hey, it's worth having a look whilst I'm here, isn't it, don't you think? Now, I have to tell you, I'm a bit of a sucker when it comes to shooting Orion in the northern sky. So after shooting a number of compositions from over the other side facing down towards the south, I brought my camera up here. Now, this was the only vantage point I could find, this little mound here. It's not a great position and I'm still way too close to the chimney, but I can't go anywhere down there. It's a jungle down there, probably full of tiger snakes, who would know? Blackberries and all sorts of things down there. But anyway, I brought my camera over here and you know, I could see Orion blazing in that northern sky. It looked absolutely fabulous. So I took my opportunity, set my camera up here, shot another panorama. So I think it was 4 shots. So in a horizontal aspect ratio, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I could get the whole height of the chimney. Now, of course, again, what I wanted to do here was put Orion in the background at a different focal length. So as I did before, I used the 50mm lens and did a tracked pano of Orion. So when I was over there, I just turned the camera around and shot back to Orion. And you know, like I said in my last video on this topic, Orion is one of the best subjects to shoot in the night sky. So what did I do? I put it up there, 50mm. I shot about 15 shots, a nice big wide pano. That gives me plenty of room to be able to jiggle it around in the background behind this foreground subject and position it exactly where I want it to be. And that's all I've got for you today in this episode, but thank you so much for coming along and joining me here out at this amazing location. Now, it was just beautiful the other night under the stars, albeit quite windy, which didn't make it a really pleasant experience. And as you can see, there's houses and buildings quite close here, so that's why I didn't do the video here on location. I didn't want to make a lot of noise because it was quite late at night. Anyway, I'm going to go and have a cuppa now, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a fantastic week.